So when it comes to performance coaching, one of the things that as a coach I always strive to uncover is your saboteurs. Your saboteurs. Now, the interesting fact on this is we all of us, and talked a little bit about, the internal dialogue, what's going on inside your head. We all of us have an ability to sabotage our own lives. We can sabotage our own focus, our own momentum. Just think about that, in the context that you decide you want to, break the fold and get up early and go training, and then you let yourself off the hook and have a lie-in. You make a commitment to get some work done, and then you find yourself, as I mentioned in one of my previous posts, the devil of procrastination coming in and holding you back from what it is you wanted to do. Now, the reality on this, in terms of the saboteurs, and there's a series of them. There's a great book out there by Shehzad, Charmaine, called Positive Intelligence, and I really implore that you go pick that book up and have a good read of it, and indeed jump on his website and go and do his saboteur assessment and find out which of the saboteurs, 9 saboteurs there are, ranging from hypervigilant, victim, pleaser, and a host of others. But the reality is they get in the way. Now, they get in the way because the way our brains work and the way that Shehzad talks about it is that we each of us have a judge. But you won't know that you have a judge. It's the job of a performance coach to start to raise that awareness, to start to give you some insights in terms of your internal dialogue and, again, why you do the things that you do, and then to challenge you and to help with strategies. And in actual fact, it's not even strategies, it's habits that can start to break the mold of your judge and saboteurs colluding against you. Now, that might sound really funny, that you actually, have to take a stance against your judge, your saboteurs. But the reality is, if you imagine that these things are happening subconsciously, you don't have a great deal of control of them because they are almost pre-programmed, as we've mentioned already. When you look at the environment has a significant impact on how you turn up. The people that you'll spend time around have a significant impact on how you turn up. Your beliefs, your values, what it is that makes you and has made you have an impact on how you turn up. So when I then add to the mix that you've got a judge, and your judge will immediately judge your surroundings, yourself. You look in the mirror and you judge yourself, and you judge others, and you judge others almost instantaneously the moment you meet them. And that triggers the saboteurs to then jump out and then start turning the volume up in your head in terms of sabotaging your thoughts and beliefs. So I raise awareness with all of my clients that I'm working with in terms of how their saboteurs are turning up and the impact that they're potentially having. But to tune into it, because the difference here is that you won't recognize your saboteurs turning up. You'll just think it's an internal narrative and that's who I am and that's the way I am. But once you become aware of who your saboteurs are, and let me give you an example. So some years ago, as I was starting out as a coach, my number one saboteur was a pleaser. And so, I was always striving to create contentment with the people that I was coaching, to make them feel happy about themselves. Well, think about that from a position of a performance coach. How good a coach am I going to be? Frankly, I'm going to be shit. Because if I can't challenge you or can't, say the things that you need to be, that need to be said, be your unreasonable and candid friend that will tell you as it is, I'm not going to be a very good coach, am I? And so very early on, I learned that I needed to quieten that saboteur. I needed to make sure that saboteur didn't turn up and sabotage any of the coaching sessions I was doing with my clients. And so today I now have, it doesn't turn up at all, but I have a series of strategies, and I'm very, very tuned in and aware of when that saboteur, or indeed any sabotaging thoughts or the judge, turns up. So performance coaching is really about unlocking that potential. But we're, as I said in, I think my last video, I talked about going deep, not just looking at the surface. So what are you doing to sabotage yourself today?